Sa pinakahuling tala ng Philippine Statistics Authority, nasa 4.5% ang unemployment rate sa bansa. Umakyat yan mula 4.3 noong Mayo. Mataas din ang underemployment rate. May trabaho man, hindi naman nagagamit ang kursong pinag-aralan o kaya ay napipilitang tumanggap ng trabaho na mas mababa sa kakayanan. Yan yung karaniwang na-experience ng ating mga manggagawa. Pag-usapan natin yan, kasama si Kalibrr Chief Executive Officer Paul Rivera. At pwede rin po kayong sumali sa aming talakayan, i-post ang inyong mga tanong o komento sa aming Facebook Live. Magandang hapon sa iyo, Paul.
Kind of after the...
Good to be back.
Briefly lang, tell us what Kalibrr is nga muna ulit para dun sa mga hindi pamilyar.
Kalibrr is an online recruitment platform. We have 7 million users sa Philippines at sa Indonesia. And yung platform namin, we help people match the jobs in the Philippines and Indonesia.
So bago natin pag-usapan itong, kasi nga yung malaking problema doon sa job mismatch, nakita ko lang kasi may pag-aaral din itong grupo na tinatawag na PwC Philippines na 29% daw ay gustong umalis sa bago nilang trabaho ngayon or naghahanap ng bagong trabaho. At sinasabi nga nila, nangyayari yan halos sa buong mundo, yung tinatawag na Great Resignation after nitong, during this, dahil ng kasunod nitong pandemic. Ano ba ibig sabihin yan? Ganyan din ba ang nakikita yung trend?
Yeah, maraming reasons. Hindi ito bago that people want to resign. I think in our experience, number one, yung salary, yung sweldo nila, it hasn't kept up with inflation.
Yes.
Another, people will say, you don't leave a company, you leave your manager or your boss. So maybe hindi fit yung company today. And sometimes yung career nila hindi fit sa dreams or their college course. So they feel merong mismatch. So they want to leave. Another reason, yung location, traffic, in Metro Manila, ang hirap mag-commute, right? So a lot of job seekers, they actually prefer now to work from home.
Yes, oo.
And I think another thing that we're seeing is with inflation, the salaries haven't kept up. And I think employers need to rebalance yung salary nila to be able to attract people. Post-COVID, the lockdown, nag-boom yung economy. Everything opened up. Hospitality opened up. Many other industries opened up. So I think now, nag-end na yung boom and nag-normalize na yung economy.
Pero yung isa pa, nabasa ko rin ito, I don't know if you agree, no? Kasi parang dahil nga dun sa pandemic, yung naging epekto ng pandemic, parang mas na-realize daw ng maraming mga empleyado, yung parang bigyan ng priority yung kanilang well-being. So parang ngayon daw, parang, work-life balance. So kung sa trabaho nila, ay hindi nila nakukuha yung ganon, isa rin daw yan sa rason. Kaya gusto nilang maghanap ng iba pang trabaho.
Yeah, I think maraming employers now that provide options that give better work-life balance, and yung totoo, the balance that people want is hindi nila gustong mag-commute and hindi nila gusto mag-spend for food, for lunch, kasi they could save a lot when they're working from home. So I think that's the balance that employers, job seekers, and candidates are seeking.
And then based on yung nakikita nyong trend mismo dyan sa Kalibrr, yung sabi nyo kasi your job is you help people find yung matching talaga na job. Kasi problema nga yan, no? It's either they would take yung parang tinatawag na parang gig lang, no? Yung mga parang side jobs lang, na hindi rin naman nakakamatch doon sa kanilang skills or sa courses. Do you see that happening? Ganyan ba kalaki yung job mismatch ngayon?
Yes, it didn't really change over the last few years. Kasi yung economy, yung industry, yung jobs, they change very quickly. Yung skills that are needed today, hindi natuturo sa school. Yung schools, they're not able to keep up with the pace of change in the industry. So in the Philippines, in all of my experiences here, there is a forever mismatch of the graduates and the companies looking to hire graduates.
So anong dapat gawin? Anong maipapayo mo ngayon? First, on the part of the workers, mamaya pag-usapan natin employers, no? But for the workers na hindi, yun na nga, laging hindi makahanap ng job that is perfectly matched or suited to their skills, what can they do?
Yeah, my recommendation, for the job seekers and the candidates is um, try to not look for a specific job or a specific company. Try to look for a very supportive boss and manager to work for. Yung mas impactful sa career mo is a great boss, is a supportive boss. And so early in your career, you should try to seek a supportive boss who can be your mentor. Try to get yung foot sa door. Just get in a company, any company that you think will have a supportive boss. Because what's important if you don't have, say, a good degree from a good school or undergrad ka lang, is to develop work experience. Yung work experience will speak for itself. Yung results mo sa job mo will speak for itself. So, my advice is don't be so selective. Try to get in and try to demonstrate your potential.
But how do you balance rin, Paul? Kasi you also mentioned because of inflation, syempre, issue yung salary. Sometimes, people would just go for yung may malaking salary dahil yun yung kailangan nila kahit na sobrang pagod na sila or they're doing the job that they don't really like or love.
Yeah, mahirap yun because, people need to make a good living. They need to support their families. There's no easy answer there. What I would recommend is the more experience you have, where the demonstrate mo na meron kang impact sa company, that will make you more valuable over time. It may not make you more valuable tomorrow or next month. You have to have some patience. But if you continue to do that and demonstrate yung impact mo sa company, you will get on your way towards the salary that you desire.
On the part naman of the companies, anong advice? Kasi nga, yung binanggit mo kanina, halimbawa, yung mas gusto ng workers na work from home, and then more benefits for well-being, yung work-life balance. Kasi naintindihan din natin na the companies were also affected by the pandemic, no, yung mga employers. So ano naman ang pwede nilang gawin?
Yeah, I think sa mga employers and sa mga recruiters, yung advice namin is go beyond the degree. I think for many companies, they only look at the degree. What school did you go to? I think you have to have maybe other signals. Did they do it really well sa assessment, sa test nyo, sa interview? Another one is don't ignore the undergrads. Sa Kalibrr, some of our best employees were undergrads. They didn't finish college for many, many reasons. But they were some of our highest performing employees. Other pieces of advice, are you leveraging social media to talk about your culture? Kasi that is really important now for job seekers. Part of the culture that job seekers desire is flexibility. Remote work is very popular. I'm doing this interview with you, from home.
Okay.
And then, I think lastly, yung mindset nyo sa company is your mindset HR kayo or marketer kayo? I think employers have to think as marketers because they have to attract talent.
Not as you're saying hindi yung parang confined definition of being an HR na, no? Iba na yung kumbaga, iba na yung dapat na hinahanap nila na qualifications.
Correct. Kasi yung traditional view ng HR is administrative. But this is a competitive landscape for high quality talent. So you have to think like a marketer. That candidate is a customer. Bakit sila pupunta sa iyo?
Tama. Okay, pagpatuloy natin yung ating usapan, kasama pa rin si Kalibrr CEO Paul Rivera sa pagbabalik ng Newsroom Ngayon. Dito lang sa CNN Philippines. Balikan natin ang ating serbisyo ngayon. Kasama pa rin si Kalibrr CEO Paul Rivera. Pinag-uusapan natin itong mga job mismatch, underemployment. Yung binanggit mo na kanina, Paul, no, na medyo nag-iba na yung landscape. Lalo na mas marami na yung gusto mag-work from home. Naging iba na rin yung mga demands sa mga trabaho. Ano ba dapat ang pwedeng gawin ng mga naghahanap ng trabaho ngayon? May mga skills or retraining ba sila na pwedeng i-considera?
I think yung namin is, I think when a job, don't choose again a company. Try to choose a boss. Interview yung boss mo, your future boss. Interview the company. Anong matutunan mo? Ano yung culture? Anong maaaralan mo sa company? Anong magagawa mo sa company? I think in job seekers, they don't interview enough the employer. And so they just end up in a company and then they find out later hindi fit yung opportunity. So I think that's what job seekers have to do. Another thing sa mga job seekers, especially if fresh grad kayo, nasa early 20s kayo, don't work from home. Don't work remote. Kasi there's so much learning sa office
That's true.
that you can't get sa bahay mo if you're just remote. Yung work becomes very transactional. A lot of work is actually relationship, observing, watching your manager, watching yung mga teammates mo. So, my advice to young people, don't work from home. Work sa office for the first few years. Don't seek work-life balance. Seek work-life imbalance. Sa 20s mo, wala kang responsibility. Wala kang kid. You're not married.
Yes.
Marami kang time. You want your 20s to be the hardworking era. So that sa 30s and 40s mo, marami kang options.
Maganda yung sinabi mo, no, lalo na para sa mga fresh grads. Yung isa pa, based on dyan sa inyo, sa nakikita nyo sa Kalibrr, ano ngayon ang mga most in-demand jobs at yung mga madali naman din mapasukan?
Sa growth industries are in healthcare, anything IT, tech, e-commerce, yung hospitality industry is really booming sa Philippines. Yung BPO nagbo-boom pa rin, except daming BPO na hindi na sa office, na remote na sila at 50% is BPO. So I think the Philippines still has a very healthy domestic industry. And yung totoo, the Filipino worker is still very desirable abroad. Many Filipinos, millions of Filipinos still go abroad every year. Kasi, companies all over the world, countries all over the world understand the value ng Filipino talent.
Halimbawa, would you advise them to learn something new? For example, if you're a nursing graduate, but the openings are online, mga work sa BPO yung binanggit mo, but there are also like other medical related jobs. Would you advise them to train and go into a different field?
Sometimes, yes. I think for the job seeker, it's a very personal question, but yung mindset mo is you have to do whatever it takes. Kasi it's not going to be easy regardless. It's not going to be easy if you don't train and you stay in your job.
Okay.
Hindi easy if you have to learn new skills and you have to go to a new job. So yung mindset mo is I have to do whatever it takes to get the job or opportunity that I want, to make the living that I want.
Okay, huli na lang, Paul, your reminders to our job seekers and also even to the employers, and then where can they get in touch with Kalibrr?
I think the number one reminder is make sure when you go to interview, you're prepared. Your resume is up to date. Walang photo, walang grades if low, walang high school. Keep it one page. Walang generic objective. There's so many things you can do to optimize your application. For the employer, make sure you use tools like Kalibrr to find great talent. Talk about your culture. Make sure yung salary mo is competitive. And you can find this online, www.kalibrr.com. And we look forward to helping you either as a job seeker or kung employer kayo.
Maraming pong salamat kay Kalibrr CEO Paul Rivera.